Hey out there, Zentangle friends. Welcome back to another day of Inktober Tangles 2022. And we are moving right along. Today we are on day 12 and we are learning the tangle Socc. I believe that's how it's pronounced, or Socc, by Erin Olson. And what we do in this video is that we have two parts. Because this is the beginner video, I am taking you step by step on how to create the patterns. And we're going to create step outs for each of the patterns of the 31 days. And that is, here's the step out. And I'm really excited about this because step outs are a great way to understand how to put the tangle together. And with learning 31 new tangles in a month, it's going to be difficult to remember how to create each of the patterns. So at the end of 31 days, if you follow along with me and create your step outs, you will have a catalog of all the tangles, how to create them, and you won't even have to go online or looking all over the internet and social media to try to figure out how to do the pattern. You will have your catalog. And then part two, we are drawing on a mandala, which you saw in the opening frame of this video. So we're going to just jump right in and get started. We're going to go over to my studio and we are going to get started. Now, hopefully everything works fine. You may have wondered why I had missed a day, but I've been having some tech issues, and I believe they're all resolved. And we're moving right along. So this is the mandala that we are working on, and it's starting to really take shape after day 11. And then after today, day 12, we will add another block will be filled with another tangle. So I want to get started with step out. This is the step out for the pattern Socc. Just a little. I'm seeing. Okay, here we go. I guess it corrected itself. There we go. And the way we get started with all of this is the little bijou pattern. This is what we're working towards, and that we'll put on the mandala after we create the step out. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm working with the same basic pens that I have been all along. And this is the stencil that's made specifically for Zentangle step outs, and you can get that on Etsy. You can find this in the beginner's guide. I have a materials download, and I'll be adding at the end of October. I will be adding all of the different materials that I've used during the month, so you can get a sense of you can get those supplies. I know how frustrating it can be to want to have that supply and not be able to find it. So if you sign up on the for the challenge, you'll get an email notification every day, and you'll get a beginner's guide. And that will give you all the basic materials to get started in Zentangle. So I do want to put this at the start. I've seen a number of comments about we do have in the Zentangle community some really amazing Zentangle inspired artists, and their artwork has been showing up for the Inktober challenge. And if you're a beginner, a number of beginners have been just getting frustrated in how to be able to join in. So this channel is dedicated to all of you beginners. And my intention is to give you classic Zentangle tips and how to do Zentangle from the beginning. So that is why I chose to have step outs first. Now you will, if you don't want to follow along for the whole step out and you want to just skip to where I'm drawing on the mandala, there's a timestamp also in the description. So you can get in the description, there's a link. That link was discovered a couple of days ago. Some of the links were broken, but they're all fixed now. And the link will be in the description as to how to sign up to get on the email list and to get the beginner's guide. And in the beginner's guide, I have a template for this, for the step outs. So let's get started. So one of the things we do is in a step out, we mark the new lines with a red. I chose a hot pink. You could pick out another contrasting color. And the first thing we're going to do with the pattern Socc is to create a grid. So I'm going to divide this into thirds. And then into half. Step one, simple lines. That's Zentangle. The Zentangle was created to for non-artists to be able to learn how to draw abstract patterns. And one of the conditions for the patterns is that they have no more than 6 steps. And each of the steps are to be one of 5 basic elemental lines. And those elemental lines are ICSO. And what the founders of Zentangle say is if you can write this ICSO, you can learn to draw these patterns, because all of the patterns are created one line at a time with one of these 5 elemental lines. So if you look at this grid here, you can see that we have straight lines, and there's different ways that you can draw straight. That's almost like a C though. S shapes, C shapes, and circles or orbs, and dots. So this pattern is no different. And it's really a fun pattern. It's a great pattern if you want to have more Zen flow, and just because it's really the same pattern repeated. So these different blocks, you can block it off any way that you choose, but I'm going to go simply with a few different straight lines, and we're going to give it a try. And the thing that's really cool about this as well is that you really don't know what's going to look like till the end. So that's step 2. Very simple. Okay, so now let's get a little deeper into this pattern. I'm going to turn this because it's much easier for me to draw straight, or to draw when I have it turned at a certain angle. Hopefully it's good for you in the way that you can see it. I'm going to turn it again. You'll see that Zentangle artists, they're always turning their tiles, or their work. Okay, so then we're going to mark off a couple different the boxes with a few lines, and it's pretty random here. The more you understand the pattern, the more you might do it differently, and because now you have a feel for the pattern. So now the next step, I'm going to pick up my contrasting color, and here's what we're simply going to do. So we're going to move around, and we're going to do like little arches, little half seed shapes. Now we could actually come and do this on the outside as well. I like to stay in the same area so I don't get confused on what I've done. And you see, I'm connecting these. Actually, this is one line, but we won't tell anybody. It won't make a difference really at the end, but this does get the full C shape. And we keep going around the boxes. Now, these are pretty small boxes. I would, when I were to draw a pattern, I definitely would draw a bigger box than this. And then you'll be able to get more of these lines, as you'll see, more dimension. But we're just working with about 1.5 inch size block here, but it does give you an idea of how the pattern works, and you'll be able to, it'll give you a reference so you'll know how to do it on a larger scale when you're ready. When we go to the mandala, it's also a small little space. Okay, so that is step 3. Now on to step 4. And on the step out, because the spaces are so small, I would have these as thin as possible. Because you want to be able to do this more than once. Oops. Another oopsie, but that's okay. That just, the imperfections create the variety. And it really is about the process to help calm our minds and focus, open to deeper creative insights. I answer a lot of my questions when I'm Zen tangling. They just kind of bubble up as my mind clears from the daily chatter. Now, I don't have music on my videos. They're also not, I typically don't edit. This is like watching me over my shoulders doing work. So the next step is we're going to start filling in a few more of these auras or echo lines. Again, keeping them small, especially in these spaces. I want to be able to get, at least 2 more lines in there to get the pattern to work the way I'd like to see it work. So you keep working it down. Now it's a little squiggly. There we go. I'm drawing these repetitive lines give you a lot of Zen flow time. And that helps to quiet mind And so this would be a really good tangle if you want to focus, if you need focus, if you if you feel like you want to quiet your monkey mind. It's a little not perfect, and I'm not trying for perfection. In fact, I'm a recovering perfectionist. I've taken up the motto that B- is good. And so, there we go. Otherwise, this channel never would have gotten started because it's really hard to perfect something without doing it. Perfection doesn't come in the mind. Perfection comes with practice and doing. So it's one of the reasons why I like Zentangle. I like their philosophy, one line at a time. That's really helped me in actually creating this new channel and a lot of other projects that I'm working on that I've instilled that philosophy outside of my artwork, and it's really helping me to stay centered and not get overwhelmed, because I used to have a lot of overwhelm. All right, this is pretty narrow in here, and I want to leave a space because that's part of the tangle, but it's kind of small, but it works anyway. So there we go. That is step 4. Now we're going to do this next step, and we're going to color in the boxes. So let me get that drawn out. And so now we draw that. And I think it's time to take a little bit of a drawing break and put the name of this pattern, which is Socc. I believe that's how it's pronounced. And we're on day 12. Getting close to halfway done. And this tangle is by Aaron Olson, CZT. So we will write that in. Certified Zentangle teacher. Okay. So moving right along, and I'm using my O1. This is a Statler. I like them. I'm a little heavy-handed, and I find that their nibs on their tips are a little bit sturdier, not as fragile as the Micron. Oh, we can't forget to do this. Okay. I'm gonna leave a few open because I want to really show what this can do. we were just echoing oraing that seed shape. And it starts to we're going to leave that. And I'm going to show you right away what the next step is to color in the centers. So I'm going to do a few more of these. I'm going to try that. And leave more of a center. So you can just play with it and see what shapes. I saw on another video, the artist, she was showing how she made triangle and shapes. I stuck to the basic squares here, but your imagination is your limit. There are many ways and variations. It's a very simple pattern to learn. It's great for beginners. Some of the patterns we're doing in Inktober are a little more challenging on my channel. That's why I'm doing the step outs and hoping that I can simplify that for you, which is the intention of Zentangle, that anyone who can draw ICSU, ICSO can learn these abstract patterns and create pretty artwork that they can be proud of and get to relax a bit. And it doesn't matter if they're a little wonky. It's kind of cool if it's a little wonky. It's not meant to be perfect. One more. Now I'm going to leave this box blank. On the other one, on the other step out that I did fill it in, and I didn't, and then I was going to, I think I showed a little bit of shading. Well, I didn't yet, but I was going to do that. But we're going to go straight to the mandala afterwards, because this is basically the last step that you need to know ahead of time. And I don't want this video to be too long. And it's a lot of lines. And I don't speed up the video, but you can do that yourself. Something about speeding up videos when I'm teaching how to relax and focus doesn't seem to do what I want to do. Okay, so that is the step out, except we haven't colored these in. So you basically have these centers. You can go as far as you want in closing them in with those lines, or you can leave some openings, and it starts to make interesting patterns. And you know, this is what I came up with, and I'm going to put that in a moment on the mandala. So let's finish this up, and then grab your mandala design, or whatever design you're using for your daily tangle to be put in. And we will start that in just a moment. So there you go. There is Socc by Erin Olson, CZT, Step Out. And we will now head over to, hopefully this is sharing, then you see part 2 mandala. This is the mandala template that you get when you sign up for the beginner's guide, and the email prompts to each of the videos that I have created for Inktober, and that link is in the description. This is the mandala that we're filling in. And we are going to head over back into the studio, and we are going to get started and draw that in. So let me get this positioned. Really excited the way this is starting to shape up, and I think it's going to be really pretty when it's finished. So I'm going to draw this pattern, and I'm going to let's see, how am I going to do this? Okay, I'm going to do this up here. Well, there we go. Get the eye candy out of the way. I'm going to start with a pencil. Put my lines in. This will be interesting. There we go. I gave it a little bit of an arch to follow the lines of the roundness of the mandala. And sorry for the turning, but my arm just won't give a good line unless I give it the same angle. And so that's the grid. I am going to try it a little on an angle here and here. I'm going to give this in the middle. I'm going to let this be whole. So let's see what we got. So as you can see, this pattern can give you a lot of just repetitive lines. The more repetitive the lines, the more Zen flow. Zen flow, at least if you want to focus and you want to calm the mind, is what you're aiming for. So a tangle like this would be a great choice if you want to relax and just draw repetitive lines and see what different kinds of designs you come up with. Yep. Getting a little wonky here, but that's okay. It's not perfect Zen. We're not looking for perfection. We're looking for some fun. Now, because of all these lines, I'm taking my hand and giving it a little bit of exercise, because it's getting a little stiff. Again, this is a small space. What I've learned in these small spaces is you can replicate the smaller lines on the side, so it actually gives you a little more depth, and it takes the design, it leaves the center more open, although it didn't do it quite on that one. As I went and added another line. I'm gonna have to turn this a little, because my lines are getting very squirrely. There we go. But the different ways, I'm not sure what happened here, but it looks like it could use another line. It could use another line in here too. All right. We're coming in for the count here. We're almost done putting in sock. I'm going to fill it in. I want to do a little bit of shading. Show you how cool that is. Where are we? So I'm hoping that the technical issues I've had this week that have delayed a few of these videos on the exact day I wanted them to go out are over. And I'd love to have you join me on the challenge. It's not too late. In fact, I have some people that are going to do the challenge in November. So we have that done. Now I'm going to come in the center, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to give it some gold. Let me see. I'm going to do black, and then I'm going to highlight in gold. Now the great thing about this is if the box that in the center has gotten too small, you can always make it a little bit larger. So that's cool. And really at this point, it can become your pattern, your tangle, where you're guided after each line at a time is it's your work. And maybe maybe it speaks to you. That's what happens to me, is I get to where it says, well, what if I do this over here, and what if I make that a little bit larger or a little bit smaller? Then I kind of I follow some of the suggestions, and it leads into the mystery of how it's going to turn out, and get a few of those mystical moments that are really gratifying and joyful. So, and boy, we could sure use it these days. Life is a little bit challenging for everybody. So I'm going to give a little pop of gold in there. I love doing that on my black and whites, and you can see it goes with the color palette that I've chosen here in the rest of, and I just want to show you a little bit, and then I'm going to encourage you to go look at, see what others have been doing in their Socc patterns. You can go on YouTube, and so in these little centers here, give it a little bit of a shade. Shading it can take as long as can really take as long as drawing it. So I usually do my shading after I've let it sit for a bit, then I come back. But I just wanted to show you how it can start to really take a life of its own. You can have some dimension. And then I'll finish that up off camera, and you can see how it's starting to shape up. Want to turn it a little bit. This is almost half done. And that is Socc. And I hope that you have enjoyed today's video. And if you tomorrow, the pattern is phylloxy. And if you haven't gotten your beginner's guide and daily email prompts and you'd like to do that, the link is in the description. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification. It really does help me. If you're enjoying this channel, I definitely would love to have you as one of the subscribers of Zen and Creativity. And this has been Inktober Tangles 2022, day 12. So I am Yehudit Steinberg, certified Zentangle teacher, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you so much for watching.